I'd like to open up tonight under a public hearing. This is regarding an amendment to the annexation agreement for property owned by Cal Atlantic Group, Delaware Corporation, affecting a portion of the Edgewater subdivision. Ms. Chrissy, would you like to lead us out on that one?
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you so much. So I'll just give a brief overview. We do have the property owner as well as their attorney present to answer any questions. But this is in regards to the Edgewater subdivision. And just for the record, a public hearing notice was published in the Herald News on October 7th, 2019. So as you can see here, maybe, the Edgewater subdivision consists of 4 units. It was annexed and the PUD was approved in 2003. The original developer was Kimball Hill. They platted units 1, 2, and 3 and then constructed 197 homes prior to filing for bankruptcy in 2009. The village completed subdivision improvements after pulling bonds and completed that work in the summer of 2014. Then in the fall, we had Ryland Homes come in and petition for the final plat for Unit 4, as well as amendments to the PUD. However, those were specific to Unit 4. One of those modifications were to reduce the eaves from 12 inches on all sides to have 12 inches on the front facade and then 6 inches on the side and rear facades. And so to kind of take a look at what that looks like, here are some of the drawings that came in for approval. You can see that there's 11¼ inches of eave overhang. Then on other details, you've got a foot, and then you've got 8 inches for the detail at the brick. So there's some varying eave dimensions. And these are plans, and I guess I'll go through and show you. So a front elevation, you see that there's 6 inches on the sides. You've got 12 inches where you've got a gable, and it's actually with trusses. Then to take a look at what that looks like in real life, you can see that there's 11 to 12 inches along the siding over the garage, and then 6 to 8 inches along the brick, where the brick meets the eave. So 116 homes were constructed in Edgewater by Ryland Homes. Ryland Homes and Standard Pacific Homes merged to form Cal Atlantic, and then Cal Atlantic constructed 30 more homes that had these varying eave dimensions. The request tonight is to modify or amend the annexation agreement to allow a continuation of construction of the reduced eaves dimension for the remaining 21 lots. There's a total of 335 within the subdivision, and 21 are remaining. 16 have open permits, and then 5 are yet to be permitted. Here are some photographs of some existing homes. I'm not sure that many people would really notice a difference between the 6, 8, or 12-inch eaves, but about a third of the homes do have the reduced eaves. Allowing the reduction for the remaining properties appears to be consistent with the rest of the character of the subdivision, since there are so many of them that are currently within the subdivision itself and are already part of the existing fabric of the neighborhood. So that really concludes my overview. I'm happy to answer any questions. And like I said, the property owner and their attorney are also present.
Any questions from the board members?
I don't think it's an issue. I
I
mean,
would
unless
add,
it was
yeah.
unless it was pointed out, I don't think anybody would even notice it.
I would just add one. Are there any minutes in any of the previous planning and zoning meetings to where this was discussed? Is anybody aware?
It did not go to Planning and Zoning Commission because this is specifically in the annexation agreement. So that's where these requirements are specified.
They're satisfied the annexation agreement, which came before the board. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from any of the board members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public, well, I should ask, are there any questions from the audience? There being none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing is closed. I'd like to open up the regular village board meeting for the Village of Shorewood on October the 22nd in the year 2019. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And roll call, please.
Mayor Chapman?
Here.
Dan Anderson?
Here.
Steve Brockman?
Here.
Cece DeBold?
Here.
Barb Kirkland?
Here.
Dan Warren?
Here.
Tony Luciano is absent.
Okay. Let the record show as a quorum, the regular village business can be done. Before I get into my next section, I would like permission from the board to move a resolution up forward so we can take care of most of the people that are in the room tonight and get them back to dinner, the ones that had to miss dinner to get here. If you would approve me moving business item number 1 up to the present,
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
make the motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, tonight, we have the honor of bringing in the Troy baseball team. I remember years back that we've done it before. And many of the teams from Troy, which at the original school for Shorewood was Troy, so it's kind of, and all my kids went there. I'm sure that a lot of the board members, all their kids went there too. So it's the school's inside of us and deep in our hearts, and I was so proud when I heard what this young group of gentlemen accomplished. Not only that, from what I hear through the grapevine is they're a bunch of great students too. So not only that, they're good athletes and great students. So tonight, I think the board is really going to get enjoyment out of honoring you. I've heard that the school board already has, and I commend them for getting that done. So, no further ado, let me read this resolution, okay? A resolution of the Village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois, honoring the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team. And I would ask, as I read each one of your name, would you please stand up? And then we'll wait and give them a big round after they're all standing, okay? So whereas the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team is a member of the Illinois Elementary School Association, the team took 4th place in state and at the IESA Class 3A state tournament. And whereas members of the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team are Darren Artegue, Matt Marchiniak, Nick Peter, Drew Wills, Max Hervatin, Aiden Calvi, Mitch Ragusa, Jimmy Anderson, Carlos Del Real, Cal Corner, Casey Terrell, Colin Morgan, John O'Brien, Josh Procyse, Kel Karchewski, and Owen Young. I hope I didn't hurt any of those names too badly. Okay. And whereas the team was led by head coach Tom Napchick and assistant coach Ted Gernand. Am I right on the Gernand? Okay, thank you. And with the athletic director, DeGroat, she here? Did not, okay. Whereas at state, the Trojans first took on Homer Glen and won 4-0, moving the Trojans forward to the semifinals as sectional champions. And whereas the team played Chittix Junior High School for the third place spot and lost a heartbreaker, and I was being texted all through that game, boys, and that was a heartbreaker, even for me. So and lost 1-0, placing the Trojans in fourth place in the state finals. Whereas the Shorewood community and the village board congratulates the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team for placing fourth at the recent IESA Class 3A state baseball tournament. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the president and board of trustees of the village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois, that they do hereby express their sincere congratulations to the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team and its coaches for being the number 4 boys middle school baseball team in the state of Illinois. We recognize and commend your dedication and your hard work. Such a title brings honor to you, your families, your school, and your community. So I'll be the first one to stand up, and I hope the rest of the board would, and give these boys a round of applause. Now I would ask you all to come walk by the board and get some handshakes. While that's going on, I will also say that we will be delivering this resolution, and each one of you will have a copy.
Nice job.
Okay.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Good going, guys.
You guys look nice tonight. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Well, ties, man, they're in.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations, guys. Congrats. Yeah, you too.
Almost done.
I do fist bumps. Good job. Good job. Congratulations.
Right here.
Congratulations.
The board,
Congratulations, guys.
How many of you guys are coming back next year? Congratulations.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
board members.
No giggling.
Yeah, Jimmy needs to go over. Good call.
Don't.
Are we done?
Okay, Coach, great job. Great
Good
job.
job, you guys.
Hey, Coach, like I said, there'll be an individual copy for each one of the boys so they can, it'll be sent over to the school, okay? All right. They could, yeah. School's out. Ta-da. Keep going.
Oh, yes. And the resolution? Mayor Chapman, we need to roll call on the resolution?
Oh, yeah, well, let them get out the door
Okay.
here. Okay, need a motion to approve the resolution for the Troy Middle School Trojan baseball team.
So move.
Diane, roll call?
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, resolution stands approved, be signed, delivered to the boys sometime this week. All right, I will move on. Is there any citizens that wish to address the village board tonight? All you need to do is state your name, please, for the record, and the microphone, so the three people that are watching us tonight get to see you.
My name is Raylin Ristich,
Could you spell that, please?
Raelynn. Last name Ristich.
Thank you.
Over the past couple of months, I've been dealing with the rehoming of my dog in the aftermath of a vicious dog determination being made against him. This determination was made by the Village of Shorewood Police without following correct procedures set forth by Ordinance 5-2-13, Sections A through I, Determination of a Vicious Dog. Ordinance states that I was to be offered a hearing prior to the investigation to determine whether or not a vicious dog investigation needed to take place. A hearing where I could have had my attorney there, my trainer, a dog behavioralist. They could have all been present to provide their input. A witness that saw the entire incident from start to finish was never contacted. My dog's injuries were never addressed, were never given a chance. We were never given a chance to supplement our own evidence from the trainer and a behavior report, as the ordinance clearly outlines. We have all of these things, but we're never given an opportunity to present any of it. Then, once the investigation was over, we are never offered an administrative hearing. All of this is also clearly outlined in the same ordinance. My dog was beaten during and after the incident by my neighbor. I have a picture of my dog's injuries from that and the other dog. Nobody ever asked about those, nor was I ever given a chance to provide them. Once we received a letter that our dog was deemed vicious, we sought the help of an animal rights attorney. We were advised by her to request a hearing so that we could appeal this determination. This hearing was set for December 27th, 2019, only because we had to pursue it ourselves. This was 1 month after my dog was already deemed vicious and banned from Shorewood. At this point, he'd been gone since August 1st for the incident occurring on July 28th. This incident involved my dog pinning down my neighbor's dog, an incident that did not cause injury to the neighbor's dog except one red mark on his neck. No punctures to the skin, therefore no bite. I have pictures, I have vet bills that show where no antibiotics were given, no cleansing of any wound took place. My neighbor brought his dog to the vet 1 day after the incident. His dog was roaming around the property unharmed the same day immediately after the incident ensued. 4 days later, a second vet visit occurred and x-rays were done. Nothing else was required of me financially because that is the only treatment that happened. I'm sure that if further treatment was needed, I would have also paid for that. I did also reach out to Timberline Animal Hospital, which was the veterinary clinic that the neighbor's dog was brought to, and inquired as to what the standard care for a dog bite is. I was told the wound would need to be cleansed and/or stitched up if need be, and antibiotics would need to be administered because of increased risk of infection from a dog bite. Why did the same veterinary clinic not give this dog, who everyone is claiming to be bitten by my dog, antibiotics? I have pictures. I don't know if you want me to pass the pictures around, or later I could pass that out.
Well, this isn't a
Okay.
trial.
Okay.
You know, we're just basically, you have the right to
Okay.
tell us anything you want. You could have started out on a car accident.
Okay.
So, we're here to listen.
Okay. So I have pictures of both injuries. They're pretty equal, both dogs. While my dog did initiate the interaction, he did not cause any harm, certainly not serious harm. Immediately after, I made arrangements for him to go to a professional trainer for 3 weeks for behavior modification when he was removed from the town. My dog pinned my neighbor's dog down because my neighbor's child walked her dog right up to my fence on a leash where my 6-year-old daughter was standing with my dog. My daughter told the other 6-year-old little girl walking her 75-pound dog, totally unsupervised, not to come too close to the fence. There are 2 dogs that live in that household on the other side of the fence, and in the 3 years we've had my dog, he's never gone through that fence. And those dogs have come up to it numerous times. Never an issue. Why did he go through this time? He was protecting my daughter. My dog has been known to protect my children. I will not fault him for that, but I will take full responsibility for him going through the fence. That was unacceptable, and we never thought in a million years it would happen. This is why I plan to put fence reinforcements and an e-fence 3 feet in from my fence if need be to supplement the obedience training that he's also had. My husband reached out to the investigating officer numerous times from August 1st to August 28th during the investigation to keep him updated on my dog's progress and training. The fact that he was in training and our plans to secure our yard so this would never happen again. Each time, Officer Tashina thanked my husband and told him that he would include that in his report. Sadly, you will not find any of that in the report. The entire police report about this incident is conversations between my neighbors and police, multiple visits made to my neighbor's home, and my neighbors being pleased that my dog was rehomed. The report states my husband called Officer Tashina right after the incident on August 1st to let him know that we rehomed our dog. That was false. My dog was sent to live with my sister in another town, so he didn't have to sit in a veterinary office in a cage for the month-long investigation that was going on. So needless to say, on September 27th, 2 months after the incident and 1 month after vicious dog ruling was made, our first hearing we were ever provided took place. There was no neutral party present. It was my husband, me, my trainer, and my attorney up against Deputy Chief Allen and the village attorney, Brian Wellner. We were strong-armed into signing an agreement that our dog could never come back to Shorewood, and he is deemed vicious. It was also at this hearing Officer Allen refused to show us pictures or vet bills from my neighbor's dog, bills we were paying for. He also stated they were wanting to deem my dog vicious based on this incident alone. He said, and I quote, "The first incident with your dog has nothing to do with this. There was a first incident, I will touch on that shortly. So why was my dog being deemed vicious based on one red mark on another dog, not even a bite?" We were told by Officer Allen that if we pursued any further legal action, he would push for the maximum penalty and fines against my dog, including euthanasia. Needless to say, we went along with the agreement as to not have our dog killed. I mentioned the first incident because that was the second time my dog had pinned down another dog. The first time he got off of his leash and pinned down a neighbor's dog. He also did not cause any major injury. I paid the vet bill, which was $164, 50 of it, which was an office visit, and everything was fine. After that incident, my dog was only let out to our fenced yard to go to the bathroom to ensure it would never happen again. It was during the first investigation we contacted the police multiple times inquiring as to what the determination was on our dog, and it wasn't until several months later we were told verbally over the phone that our dog was deemed dangerous. No guidelines, no appeal options, no further information was given. So here we are, 2 for 2 for dog investigations not being handled accordingly in reference to town ordinances. Side note, upon reviewing my dog's medical records just recently, I see that the Shorewood Police reported to my veterinary clinic after the first incident that my dog had killed that dog and bit my husband, which neither of those statements is true. So now I have lies in his chart. I have to contact the veterinary office to get this rectified. I also had to correct the police referring to my dog as being a pit bull on numerous occasions. My dog has never been classified as a pit bull. He's an American bulldog. I feel that shouldn't matter, but something tells me it does in this case. I am hoping to shed some light on the major mishandling and bias that took place in this case. I'm hoping to do so that this doesn't happen again. This, believe it or not, was the condensed version of the story. I have everything else in more detail if anyone's interested. There are many holes in this case. I have outlined a few. Why is there a vendetta against my dog, I am not sure. These are animals, but these are also family members. And when your family member is kicked out of a town for something so minor, you fight for his rights. This was an unjust and unlawful ruling, and I will stand by that and continue to seek answers and make sure actions are taken so no one else's family has to go through this. I would like to see my dog back home with a plan in place for his continued success as he has displayed in training. I would like to see the individuals responsible for a dog's fate in these matters be fair, unbiased, and follow protocol. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I just have one question. Maybe the board members have other ones, but how long has that dog been with you?
It will be 3 years, November 4th. And he'll be 5 on Halloween.
And you have other dogs?
2 other dogs.
Okay. All right. What I can say, and for information of the board, the administrators are in an investigation on this complaint now. Mr. Collada, he's still going. I talked to him today, and the investigation's still going on. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct.
It was to my knowledge that it was closed. We signed an agreement.
Well, yeah, but it's the complaint that he's
Okay.
investigating.
Okay.
Okay, and he's the village administrator, all right? So that's where it's at now.
Okay.
We can't make a decision, you know, we wouldn't make one here because we only have your
Right.
story, okay?
Stand.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Art, any questions from board members for this young lady? Okay, are there any other citizens that wish to address the village board tonight? If not, we're gonna move on to tonight's consent agenda. If you guys wanna hang around for the rest of our business, that's all right, but I'd like to,
One thing, you know, I lived in Shorewood for like 40 years. Raylyn is the sister of my daughter-in-law. And we've been to many family parties over there. That dog is the gentlest dog ever, with children running all over the place. We even had an Easter egg hunt. There had to be like 20 kids there, 6 running around. Yes, 60 it seemed like. But, you know, I don't understand how her case was handled like that. I didn't think the village of Shorewood would do something
that's
that
why the
drastic.
investigation's going on, okay?
All right, thanks.
All right. Okay, I'm going to move on to tonight's consent agenda, which consists of approval of the regular meeting minutes of September the 24th. Also, approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of September the 24th. Number 3, approval of the regular meeting minutes of October the 8th. Number 4, approval of accounts payable in the amount of $689,559.51. Number 5, approval of a payment in the amount of $103,095.19 to Kim Construction for 2019 sanitary manhole rehabilitations. And finally, approval of a pay request number 1 in the amount of $125,000 to Burke LLC for work completed on the Sile Road valve replacement. Are there any items the trustee would like removed for further review? Or are there any questions on tonight's consent?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Diane, roll call, please.
DeBold,
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
Consent agenda stands approved. Diane, any communications to the board?
Yes.
Okay.
The Halloween trick-or-treat hours have been set for October 31st from 4 to 7 p.m. And Kelly Chrissy has a proclamation.
As soon as I dig it out, okay? Thank you. Probably saved 5 minutes. Okay, so. It's National Planning Month. So we do have a proclamation, and first time I've heard of this one, but it kind of snuck up on me. Community Planning Month proclamation. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and planners can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work, live, and play. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be equally involved in the making of choices that determine the shared vision of the neighborhoods, such as with the National Citizen Survey that was recently completed. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, like with the upcoming strategic plan. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorsed the National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our neighborhoods and our environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the village of Shorewood. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the village of Shorewood, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the month of October 2019 is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the village of Shorewood in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. In honor of the celebration, the village will participate in the Autumn Fest on October 27th with family-friendly activities that will help us plan for our future. Adopted this 22nd day, if you so choose to do so. I'll entertain a motion to approve the proclamation.
So moved. Second.
Diane, roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
and Anderson.
Yes. Proclamation stands approved. Announcement is our police department is accepting applications as of now, as of November 1st. Okay? So that would be my major official announcement. The list is prepared every so often, and then until it's outdated, either we hire them all or they all fail to make it, and then the list has to be reestablished. So this is that time. So if there's anybody listening to my voice, which is really in tough shape, if there's anybody out there listening to my voice and you want to become a cop, now's the time to try to do that. So. Okay, any questions to we took number 1 off, so I'm going to move on to our orders of business tonight. Business item number 2, consideration for approval of an ordinance approving and authorizing an amendment to the annexation agreement for property owned by Cal Atlantic. This is up for a first read. Ms. Chrissy. if you would.
So as I noted previously, this request is to allow the continuation of the reduced eaves within the Edgewater subdivision for 21 remaining lots. And so we've, happy to answer any additional questions.
Pretty self-sufficient after the little presentation there. I mean, I'll make the motion. If there's no other questions, I'll make the
I did
motion.
read it in here, but this is only for this, right? Just clarifying. I know I read it in here, I just want to,
So the property owner is aware that for other work that is being done, we will be working with them to ensure that the terms of any annexation agreement or PUD guidelines, those are being met. And so this is specific to the Edgewater subdivision and these 21 specific lots. Yes.
Right. 21.
And they're all listed right there in Exhibit A, correct? Very last page of the document.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's on board, then I'll make the motion. Approving the authorization amendment to annexation agreement for the property owned by Cal Atlantic and waive the second read.
second.
Diane, roll call, please.
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 2 stands approved. Okay. Moving on to number 3. Consideration of approval of a Ravinia Drive emergency repairs to PT Farrow Construction Company. Not to exceed $250,000. Mr. Drake.
Thank you, Mayor. About 2 weeks ago, we had a sinkhole in a road and found out that we had a culvert that needed to be replaced. Currently, the work is underway. It's pretty extensive, replacing the culvert with new concrete culvert pipe, and this is for PT Farrow, as you mentioned, not to exceed $250,000. There, in addition to the work that's was proposed, there's some additional work out there that needs to be taken care of with some of the surface of the road, and then some of the sidewalk and curb in that area. So this should be enough to accomplish all of that.
And the head walls,
Questions?
the head walls you're making bigger, making a little longer, and putting some railings up also.
Yeah, there weren't railings there before, so there was some pretty good drop-offs, over 6-foot drop-offs. The head walls are in a different location just to try to get them away from the curb and or further away from the sidewalk. It shouldn't impact the homeowners out there. The size culvert pipe that we're replacing is equivalent to what was existing. So it shouldn't affect the upstream or downstream of any of the homes.
And then you touched on the additional paving, where the construction work is by the pipe. We're gonna go a little bit further to the north and a little further to the south. The equipment's kind of torn up, some of the blacktop, so.
And then there's some older stressed areas
Yeah.
that definitely need to be addressed.
And I think there's sidewalk, it's more sidewalk than what's dug up is gonna be taken out. We're gonna take it to the driveway edge and replace it all, so. Some extra,
This all falls within this number though, right?
yeah. So far,
We hope.
Yeah.
so far.
We had to move a water line that wasn't anticipated. We had to drop that 3 feet. We also had to replace the sanitary sewer from an old truss pipe to ductile iron because the clearance on the concrete was only about 1 inch. So there's been some significant pieces there. With the work that's been done, we're still within the budget, or within that $236,000 at this time, but we are looking at doing some extra work in that area.
Would it make more sense to not vote on this until we have a final number?
No, be fine.
No?
We need them to get started, or did they start?
Oh, they started.
They started?
Way.
Well, that's
We're
what I thought at the
50%.
last meeting, but I haven't been down there, so I wasn't sure if
Right.
because it's supposed to be done by the 1st of November, right?
That, we're hoping. We've got 2 rain days now. They're building concrete walls now, so if they can get everything over, that's definitely the goal. This is just the expense for PT Farrow. There's other costs. We had some fence rental that we needed to make sure the site was more secure. We have construction observation. We're doing a lot of it with Public Works guys, but we do have Burke helping, coming in and out. We've used some engineering staff. Brian and I have taken a look at the proposed head walls. We still also will have a bill from a structural engineer that will approve those walls to make sure the work that was done was rated correctly. So, but this cost tonight is only for PT Farrell.
Yeah. So, you gotta remember, this is, end of the construction season, so time is kind of the essence, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying if it's gonna cost more, wouldn't it make more
Well,
sense just to pay the bill in one shot?
Well,
I mean,
we're
I get
hoping
it, I
it
think
comes
everybody already
under.
knows that it had to be fixed, that's not the
we're hoping
concern.
it comes under.
Well, there'll be more engineers, could be engineering costs yet, so, yeah.
And I understand this is only for the construction company by all means.
But every other project's got engineering cost and then it's
Sure.
got
No,
construction
no, I
costs,
understand
so
that.
It's not out of the ordinary.
If for some reason I foresee this going higher, I'll address that with Mr. Colada and, we'll go from there. Maybe we'll have to scale back some of the asphalt or something, but we'll stay with as close as we can to that number. And our attorney's recommendation is to waive the formal bid process.
I'll make a motion to approve the Ravinia Drive emergency repairs to PT Farrell Construction Company, not to exceed $250,000, waive the formal bid, and I guess waive the second read, I suppose, on this, or?
No, it doesn't need an ordinance to
All right.
do it, so.
Second.
Okay. Diane, roll call, please.
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, business item number 4, consideration for approval of the purchase order in the amount of $140,000 to Compass for bulk rock salt for the 2019-2020 winter season. Mr. Dre.
Thank you, Mayor. We went out to the state purchase procurement plan, brought that in front of the board back in March. Don't have any clue, except for supply and demand, on why the cost went up almost double.
The holiday's over.
Yeah.
We did have about 3 good years.
We did.
At pricing.
That's correct. Yeah, so the agreement in front of you is for allowing us to open a purchase order for 1,800 ton, or, I'm sorry, for 1,440 tons, which is 80% of the allotment that we have, for approximately $140,000, which is $10,000 over our budget.
So, yeah, I mean, so if we have a lot of snow and we need more salt, we're gonna be, spending more money, so.
On an average year, how much salt do we use? Approximately.
It varies too much, but it's about 1,800 ton. So we'll have some good years, we'll have some light years.
I think our price last year, what was it, 115 or 120 for the whole year?
Yeah, it was 2 years
Yeah,
ago,
that was the
wasn't
total. It was $56 a ton last year, and we're
was a
96
yeah.
and some change.
So, yeah, they're,
We've been into, Trustee DeBold, to answer your question, we've done more mechanical removal with the belly blades, so, and then additionally with all the liquid that we run. So it does vary. We've actually seen reduction in the last couple of years, but we've kept this $1,800 or 1,800 ton request for, I believe, about 10 years. if I
This is
looked at
just
records.
straight untreated salt, correct?
Straight untreated.
You haven't heard anything about the shipments because of the abnormal rains?
They are telling us to get as many things ordered as soon as possible to make sure that we're secure. We'll work towards that. We can only store about 400 ton right now at our Cottage Street facility. Out at Mound Road, we're full, we're packed. So we are in good shape at this point in time with salt.
All right. I mean, the rivers have been flooded out. I mean, barges aren't moving like they should be.
Make a motion to approve the purchase for the 2019-2020 winter season for $140,000 to buy salt.
Second.
Diane, roll call, please.
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Anderson.
Yes. We're supposed to get
Then
approval
item
for
number
some-
4, Stands approved. Moving on to number 5. Consideration to authorize the purchase and to make payment in the amount of $87,343.62 to Terrapilli Ford for two 2020 Ford Police Interceptor SUVs for the police department.
Thank you.
Mr. Dre.
Thank you. Thank you. This is pretty self-explanatory. As you mentioned, this is for two 2020 Ford Interceptors. These are admin vehicles. They'll come from Ford with a lot of the lighting put together on the vehicle out of the Ford factory in Chicago that does that. We're a little bit over budget because of the model year change. We had anticipated a decent markup on our percentage from last year, but we didn't anticipate them going up $5,000 a vehicle on the base model. So that is why these are a little bit more. We staff, Mr. McGowan and I kind of discussed what we could do to trim some costs, but bottom line, at the end of the day, we would have to then upfit that vehicle, taking staff time. And so what we're proposing is the 87,343.62 for the two SUVs for the police department.
And these come through a local dealer, which is, I'm glad to see they're coming through Terrapilli.
Right. Terrapilli worked very aggressively to give us pricing that was government pricing, so I'm very happy to stay in town.
I'll make the motion for a purchase of two SUVs, 2020 Ford Police Interceptor SUVs for $87,343.62.
Second.
Diane, roll call, please.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
DeBold.
Yes.
And Warren.
Yes.
Agenda item number 5 stands approved. Moving on to number 6. Consideration for approval of a contract change order number 1 in the amount of $577,895 for the 2019 sanitary manhole rehabilitation. Mr. Dre.
I just caught this right before the meeting, so I apologize, Mayor. That change order is for the amount of $110,685.
This one.
This, right. The total for the contract would be the $577,895. But what
And
you're.
some of that's already been distributed, right?
Yes, sir. The work that's been done up to date is about $440,000 of the $467,000 original contract that you awarded. This is an extra $110,000. With our I&I program, we are about $370,000 under budget still because we didn't get started with some of the programs we wanted to do. Kim Construction's in town. They're doing a great job. Adding some more work would help button up some of the holes that we have in some of the structures throughout town.
Would you give us that number again?
110? 110,685.
Okay.
Yeah, you answered my question. I'm like, it didn't make sense from there to there, so.
Ooh. I looked at the agenda the other day and didn't notice it, so I apologize there. This is actually moving them from Basin 5 into Basin 6, ahead of what our schedule would be. Some of the other projects that we would look to present are going to be weather dependent, so this is a good addition of work to give them and keep them in town another couple weeks, and again, help us with our I&I problem.
Moves us closer to our goal. I'll make a motion to approve the change order number 1 for RJN in the amount of $110,685.
And this is another one where we should waive the bid requirement also.
And waive the bid, okay.
Right.
And I'll include that into my motion is to waive the bid, so.
I'd still second it.
Okay, Diane, roll call, please.
Anderson.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
And DeBold.
Yes.
Number 6 stands approved. Consideration for approval of an ordinance amending the Village of Shorewood Code of Ordinances, Section 3, Chapter 18. This is the video gaming. Clarification, I think, was what the whole thing was about. I'm still lost, so
Yeah, Mayor, if I could summarize, we brought this before you last time. The intent was to increase the number of allowable machines from 5 to 6. During that discussion, there was some question regarding some of the language in the existing ordinance about what establishments are actually eligible to get a gaming license. So what you'll see in the packet, there's on page 2, you'll see that clarification made clear, or excuse me, you'll see that clarification where it says in the last sentence under section, I think it's B, no license shall be issued for any premises unless the applicant held a valid Class A, A1, B, B1, B2, or B3 retail liquor license for the premises on February 23, 2018. So what the attempt there is to more clearly state that only those establishments that had those liquor licenses on that date could possibly get a video gaming license in the future. If that continues to be the intent, then staff believes this adequately amends the ordinance that not only clarifies but also increases the number from 5 to 6.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
the increase in the number, I'm just up for the intent of this. Okay? As it brings people into play here.
that clarifies
That
the.
never were intended.
That clarifies going back to 2 weeks ago, this clarifies what the holdup was, why we didn't change it from 5 to 6 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
But going forward,
somebody
yeah.
clear up why we need this February 23rd.
It said that in the
2018.
original ordinance, February 23rd, 2018 was specified in the last ordinance as well.
You had to have a license prior to that, because I don't see what was in there.
That February 23rd was the day that we approved the original video gaming ordinance. And at that time, we said that only the people that held these classes at the time the ordinance was approved were eligible to get a gaming license. So that date, that date was not listed because that was the original date of the
When it was
ordinance.
adopted, yeah.
So that's why we clarified it now, so that anyone that didn't have that classification on February 23rd would not automatically be eligible for a gaming license.
Well,
I think you're,
no, we would have to change the ordinance.
Correct,
Okay, now.
right.
If Miss Chrissy's talking to Olive Garden, let's give it that. So she's out talking to Olive Garden and talking to their staff and stuff, and they say, well, you people don't even allow gaming machines, and yours, we can go to Shanahan. We don't need to come to Shorewood. And they get it right off our ordinance. This also pretty much says to me that it opens up the door to Portillo's, Chili's.
Well, we had a
They
list of
already
who-
hold those
Casamaya.
they already hold those licenses, it doesn't apply.
Well, they could,
Well, it does now, because if you hold it prior to this date, if you hold this class license,
Right.
then you're allowed to apply for the gaming license.
At that time,
Correct.
we had 17, I think it was 16 or 17 eligible businesses that were able to apply, but they chose not to. So, and they still can, because that's the way the ordinance was originally written.
Yeah.
it just prohibits anybody from coming in new, right? The way I understand it.
The way I
Just getting
interpret it, yeah.
We, I know that the original intent was to keep it in like the sports bars,
Yeah.
the more adult labeled facility. And so I would like, can we table this again? I don't think we're in any rush for this. I'd like to table this to where I can get a little better look at it in the old ordinance and what it said. I'm sorry to do that, but baseball on my mind. Okay? Is this up for, this is up for action tonight? If you want to take action, go right ahead. I would request that it be tabled so I could look at it a little more.
Well, it's just gonna add the sixth machine. If you're heading towards maybe revising the ordinance to allow, kind of take that lock out of,
Yeah, I would like to look at it just a little more and give it some more thought, because why do something that we'd almost all say that if that scenario that I just talked about came true, we'd be back here changing this. So why create an ordinance that we know that there's a good likelihood that we're gonna change?
Well, we change ordinances as needed on a regular basis, though.
Well,
So, I
yeah,
mean,
but
why?
Oh, wait a
why
minute.
do it when you've already been told it's probably gonna happen?
But wait a minute, this is just to increase to six. It has nothing to do with what I think you're wanting to do.
No, the red here kind of locks us in.
Yeah, but we're just gonna allow the existing places to get the sixth machine.
Yeah, that I think is a great idea.
That's what this is really about.
Well, then the red says this is a change.
All the attorney did is clean up the
was the
language
date.
from the original ordinance,
And the
though.
date, the
Right.
date locks us in.
I believe the original ordinance stated current license holders. So the question was.
Right.
Current at the time of adoption of the ordinance, or current when, someone applies?
Right.
Right?
So if Samino wants to expand out here, and I have been talking to them, but if they would like maybe to expand out in the Shorewood area, then we gotta come back and change this.
Well, but we
'Cause
would
they're
have
gonna
to,
want-
we would have to make a change anyway, because there wouldn't be a liquor license available for them.
Correct.
So we would still have to have a discussion
No,
on that,
we
right?
we can adopt the liquor license. This is an amendment to an ordinance. That we have to go through the ordinance change. We can always adopt a liquor license, okay? An additional liquor
So
license.
you want to maybe look at the license for gaming and then.
I'd like a couple of weeks to look
Yeah,
at it,
okay.
okay?
Yeah.
I don't think that's asking
I don't
for
think
a
it's
lot,
that big of
okay?
a deal. I mean, 2 weeks is not going to make any difference.
Yeah,
It's
That's
the state isn't going to
Yeah,
allow
I'm
another
not saying
machine.
it's wrong. I just said I'd like to look at it.
Yeah, but if these guys want to get another machine, they're sure not going to get it approved for in 2 weeks anyway.
Well,
so
nobody's
it's-
got one sitting on their back
Yeah.
porch waiting to turn it on or
Right,
anything,
so,
right? So,
And it's liable to come right back in the same way
Yeah.
after I look at it. I'm not saying that it's
Okay.
not. Okay?
motion to table.
Second.
Okay.
Who said second?
Diane, roll call, please.
Warren,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
yes.
Brockman, and Anderson.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item 7, table. Moving on to reports. Trustee Anderson, Public Works.
All right, thanks. It's the busy fall season for leaves this year, or this time of year. Leaf pickup has begun. No leaves in the street, please. Keep them up on the, behind the curb, on the shoulder, or behind the stone shoulder. No, foreign materials, pop bottles, cans, dog feces.
Yeah.
Please, that makes it real bad for the guys. Yeah, no yard clippings. We'll go through this, through the village once a week, through December 2nd or the first snowfall. So, bring them out to the curb usually after the weekend, the first few days of the beginning of the week are the busiest. So we'll get them all picked up. And we already talked about the emergency repair, or